Charles Marshall is one of the most popular, humorous, motivational speakers speaking today and has over 20 years experience speaking to audiences all over the United States. Each year, Charles travels 100,000 miles to perform in over 100 corporate and civic venues from New York to California. His animated delivery and original observations have captivated over 1,000 audiences over the past 2 decades, including many Fortune 500 companies. He's the author of several books, including The 7 Powers of Success, and I'm Not Crazy, But I Might Be a Carrier. He also has produced and performed 2 full-length comedy videos, fully animated, and I'm Just Saying. Please welcome Charles Marshall.
All right, how is everyone doing this evening?
Great.
That's awesome. Now, just to let you know, I am pro dessert. I don't know what that is. That's chocolate cake, isn't it?
Great.
So even if you have to get up and walk in front of me, I support that to go get chocolate cake. Anybody, is anybody ready for chocolate cake right now, but you just weren't bold enough to stand up? Go ahead and stand up. Right, look at that man. You know what? I tell you what, in addition to the chocolate cake, that man just won himself one of my books for being bold. How about that? Come on over here and bring your chocolate cake. Take the book, thank you, sir. And I'm kidding. This is for you.
I was getting another one.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm excited about being here. Thought I might just start off by telling you a little bit about myself. I am a family man. Do we have any family folks in here tonight? Not a lot of enthusiasm like this right here. Yeah, whatever. I guess it's on my mind because we just celebrated my son's birthday a couple of weeks ago, and he's real into superheroes. So your guys like that? He likes anything. He loves all the superhero movies. He likes the Avengers. He likes the new Superman, Batman movie. Anything superhero he loves. So what we thought we would do on his birthday is we got him all the action figures. And sure enough, on his birthday, he's opening them all up, and he's going, "Oh, Dad, this is so cool. You got me Batman. Oh, Dad, you got me Spider-Man. You got me in the Incredible Hulk." And immediately, like guys do, he started making them fight with one another. "Dad, what would happen if Batman attacked Spider-Man, and then Iron Man comes and attacks Spider-Man?" And he's really into it. And then he sees me over there, and he goes, "Now, Dad, you can be the bad guy." He starts attacking me with them. And I'm a dad, I know what to do. You play along, right? So I'm like, "Oh, don't give me Spider-Man, don't give me Batman." And it would all be so cute, but he's like 22 years old. So I just kind of wish he'd just get a job. Anybody relate to that? Come on, son. So I just flew in yesterday, and I fly about 100,000 miles a year. Does anybody in here fly very much? I know you're in the car wash business, but does anybody fly very much? Maybe in your job, or to see relatives, or has anybody in here ever been on a plane before? Let's try that. Anybody ever seen a picture of an airplane? How about that? About 3 people in the room. Fantastic. You're my crowd. You raised your hand. I am here today. I travel all over the country, encouraging people in their endeavors. I usually talk about personal development or customer service. I'm here to talk to you about customer service, but I think that if you are developing your customer service ethic, you are improving yourself. You are developing as a person, and vice versa. The title of my program tonight is called The Serve Method, Creating Success with Extraordinary Customer Service. How many people are the leaders of their business? Can I see you raise your hand? If you're a leader in your organization, raise your hand. See, the thing that a lot of people don't get is if your business is going to be great at customer service always comes from the top down. Customer service always comes from the top down. You might have one or two, or an organization might have 1 or 2 people that are just gung-ho, but if the leadership isn't supporting that and furthermore modeling that customer service, then the rest of the organization it's not going to catch fire in the rest of the organization. You are the pace setter in your organization. Do you model the customer service in your organization? If you're going to be successful in business, you are going to have to develop and enhance your customer service. What do I mean by that? You can put out a special on your sign. You can put out some coupons, and you can bring people in with a special for your car wash. But if you don't show up, if you don't represent when they come in the door, if you aren't shaking hands and smiling at people, say, hey, thanks so much for coming, what's your name? Making people feel special that they came to see you, they won't come back. All people have in their knowledge base of whether they choose you or choose the car wash down the road is how they were treated. Yes, it's taken as a given you're going to do them a good job. It's taken as a given you're going to be fair in your pricing. But the thing that makes them decide whether or not they're going to keep coming back to you is how they were treated. People make emotional decisions. So if you're going to be successful, I said successful. What does success mean? We've got to define what we're talking about if we're going to go any further. A lot of people think the best definition of success is being rich and famous. You know people like that? A lot of young people, I mentioned young people, a lot of young people see folks on television. They see the Kardashians on television. They think that they're successful. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's the best definition for success. I see a lot of people on TV that I don't want to be like. When I grow up, I don't want to be just like Charlie Sheen. Anybody with me on that or not? Or whoever, Lindsay Lohan or whoever, Justin Bieber, whoever the current train wreck. What I think the best definition of success is fulfilling your potential, using your gifts. What are you doing with your gifts to not only create success in your business and enhance your financial life, but also to improve the lives of the people around you? Are you using your gifts? What do I mean by gifts? Everybody has gifts. You can look at some people and just tell that they're gifted. Some people possess the gift of intelligence. Sir, stand up real quick. You can tell this man has the gift of intelligence. Radiate some of that intelligence back over. No, not so much? Okay, well, it was there before I asked you to stand up. I promise you. Some people have the gift of extreme athleticism. Sir, do you mind just going ahead and standing up? He said, well, maybe 20, 30 years. Well, that's not a good example. Sit down. Go ahead. I think people that are good looking, I think that is a gift. Good looking people have it easier in life. Would you not agree? People are nicer to them. They get the first place in line. You look at some of these ladies in here tonight. These are nice looking ladies. My point is they're going to have an easier time in life than like you and I are. Are you with me on that? Come on in, buddy. This can't be the first time you've heard this. Come on. I'm kidding. I see, but you see this on planes all the time. I see, like you see examples of this when we're boarding the plane. You have some 20-something cutie pie struggling to put her clutch purse in the overhead, and then you have 4 or 5 busted old dudes jump up to help her. Not you busted old dudes specifically. Could be any busted old dudes, just anybody. I don't know what they think is going to happen. Do you? I don't know. I mean, it's not. What do you think that they think that like she's going to say? Oh, this is so fortunate. I've been hoping to meet a busted old dude to have a romantic entanglement with. I tried looking for one online, but it's so hard to find creepy old men on the internet. So, are you using your gifts? Are you using your gifts to create success in your life? I believe customer service is being the person you want to be anyway. You can tell a lot about a person by the way they treat other people. Is that not true? Not just by the way you're treating your customers, but also by the way you're treating your partners, your employees, your spouses. Do we have any married people in here? About the same level of non-enthusiasm as the family question. Yeah. I'm excited about being married. Can I brag to you for a second? My wife and I just celebrated our 27th wedding anniversary. 3 people clapping. Wouldn't kill you. Just come on. And I thought, well, that's an example of customer service right there, isn't it? I mean, really, she's buying this product, right? she has continued to buy this product for 27 years, so I thought I'd tell you a little story. It's a little sentimental. I hope I don't bring the whole evening down. I wanted to take my wife out to a fancy dinner the other night, so we were out at the Denny's. Do y'all have those in your area? It was nice. We enjoyed a sumptuous meal. We're walking out of the restaurant. We see some friends of ours. They're like, "Whoa, Charles, what are you doing here? You normally don't spend this kind of money. Wow, Daddy Warbucks, wow." And I'm like, "I know, but it's my anniversary and I know how to treat my ladies." So here we are. Because I'm all gangster when I'm not doing this. You get that, don't you? When I'm not doing this gig. So we're there. This lady walks by. I don't even know who she is. She turned to my wife in kind of a nasty tone, I thought. She looked right at her and she said, "So, how do you like having a husband after 27 years?" I got to tell you, a lot of men in here, you might relate to this. I was a little nervous about how my wife might answer that question. Because I'm not always perfect. Sometimes I'm a little grouchy in the morning, or I forget to take out the trash. And I'm not picking on the ladies here, but honest to goodness, some of the ladies in here could learn so much from my wife, because instead of griping and complaining about her man, she chose to honor me in front of all of our friends, and her answer meant so much to me that I wanted to share it with you tonight. Get this, she said that she likes having a husband so much, she is thinking about getting another one, which I thought, see, look at that. It's touching him. Go ahead, let it out, let it out. There ain't no shame. There ain't no shame in it. Let it go, let it go. So people say, "Well, what kind of, you're talking about customer service, what kind of decisions did you make?" When we first got married, we heard the rule, you should never go to bed angry. Has anybody ever heard that rule before? And not one time in over 27 years now have we ever gone to bed angry. Instead, we stay up and fight. Y'all on that program? Some people aren't going to raise their hand for anything. Let's try this. They might be, I want this to be an all-inclusive program. How many people just wish a giant meteor would hit the room and end the whole thing right now? How about that? Anybody? A couple people. That's awesome. So what I like to do, I like to give away some of my books. These are a couple of books that I've written. This is The 7 Powers of Success, and this is Shattering the Glass Slipper, Destroying Fairy Tale Thinking. I like to find the person who is in the room who has been married the longest and give them a book. Is it okay with you guys if I stop my program and just do that as a testament to good customer service? Now, I feel the excitement rushing through the room right now. Calm down. There are a couple of rules. Number one, you still have to be married to the same person. Cumulative marriages do not count. It eliminates that entire table back there. Sorry, folks. The second rule is all the original members of your wedding party have to be present tonight for you to win. So, shoot. Okay, so raise your hand if, and I'd like if your spouse is still alive. I mean, we're still with us, and so we can find out about that person. Raise your hand if you will go high the mark. Anybody been married 25 years or more? 25 years or more. Wow, look at all those hands. That's awesome. Maybe I should have, did you have your hands back there? 25 years? Anybody back there? Maybe I should have gone higher than that. How about 100 years? Anybody? It feels like it. Is that what you're saying? Let's get her on the phone, see what she says. How about, so who had their hand? You had your hand up for 25 years. How long have you been married, sir?
33.
33. You sound so tired when you say it. 33. And a little angry, too, to be honest with you. I'm kidding you. Anybody longer than 33? Yes, sir. Mr. California? You from California? Go ahead.
54.
54. Boom. Body slam 33. Did you see that? Just body slammed you.
He's still alive.
What?
And he's still alive.
And he's still alive. He lived to talk about. I don't know what that means, but that's it sounds a little insulting, doesn't it? Anybody longer than 54? Uh-oh. We have competent, how long, sir?
55.
55. Sir, if you'd just been a little quicker to pull the trigger and ask her to marry you, you could have been winning this tonight. You see what I'm saying? This could have been you. I'm kidding you. Sir, would you, everybody might know you. I don't know you. Would you mind standing up? Are you still ambulatory? Can you? There you go. Awesome. Let's learn what this good-looking guy's name is. What's your name, sir?
Harvey Wallbanger.
Harvey Wallbanger. Well, I'm Tom Collins. Nice to meet you.
Frank Phelan.
Frank.
Phelan.
And what is your wife's name?
Catherine.
Frank and Catherine. How did you guys meet?
We met in high school.
Did you really? That's awesome. And was it love at first sight or?
Well,
Uh-oh. Is it love yet, Frank? Okay. It sounds like there is a story there.
there may be.
Go ahead. We got time.
I'm sorry, now we don't have time.
Was she?
We went to the movies. I met her inside the movie theater at the candy counter.
Ah.
She had to pay her way.
She had to pay her way. Did you have any smooth, you're at the candy counter. Did you have any smooth lines like, hey, sweetie, or, did anything, did
Too
you,
young to have sweet lines.
you were
Yeah, we're
like
teens.
14, 15?
Yeah, something like that.
That is awesome. And how long did you date her before you knew this was the lady for you?
It was years.
Years and years. Years and years, like 55 years? Is that?
No.
So
We were 20 years old.
20 years old. Okay, that's awesome.
Right.
And are you guys planning on having kids or?
We have a few.
Oh, you have some. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we have 8
So
kids.
you know what? And her name, forgive me, is Nancy. Is that right?
Harvey. I'm Harvey.
You're Frank.
She's Beulah.
And Beulah. Okay.
Catherine.
Catherine. I'm sorry. So when I see folks that are successful like this, I like to find, people ask me how you wrote your books, Charles. How did you write this book? When I do an interview, when a new book comes out, I'll do some radio and newspaper interviews, and they say, how did you write it? And the way I write it is because I've been traveling around to events like this for years, and a lot of times people seat me right next to successful people, and I like to interview them. So when I'm looking at a man who has been married 55 years, obviously successfully, the question I have in my mind is, what is the secret, and a lot of you have in your minds, what is the secret to a long and successful marriage? We're really just a successful marriage because you can have a long marriage just after a couple of years. You know what I'm talking about? No, okay, never mind. He didn't say that. Well, if you had, we'll make this gender specific. A lot of men in here. If you had to tell men one thing to do or one thing not to do, what one thing should they do to stay successfully married for 55 years?
Gosh.
There's no hope?
It
Or?
changes.
It changes.
It changes with time. Yeah.
It changes. But one piece of advice, you say yes, dear. How about that?
How about yeah, honey?
Yeah, that's it. Just say yeah, honey. Say yes, dear. Give this man a hand. Thank you so much, Frank. Have a seat, sir. And this is yours. I don't want to forget to do that. You learn something, though. I believe you can learn from mentors. That's what we're doing in this room. We come here, yes, for networking opportunities. We come to learn. But if you can take the opportunity to avail yourself of the wisdom and the experience in this room, create relationships with people, talk to people, you have people to go to when you run into the inevitable obstacle. You will run into the inevitable obstacle. I believe in mentorship. One of my first mentors in customer service was a guy named James O'Neill from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I used to attend the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and James O'Neill worked at a department store there. It was an upper class department store. It was something like a Saks Fifth Avenue for Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It was an upscale department store. If you wanted something nice, if you wanted nice clothes, if you wanted to buy something nice for your wife, you would go to Waldorf's. And James was not only the best salesman in the men's department where I worked, he was the best salesman in the entire store. People, I wish I had a time machine. I could take you back there. James was the kind of guy when you walked in the door, he was smiling at you, had his hand out. He'd go, hey, boss, how are you? Good to see you. And he would walk you into the store, made you feel glad that you came, walked you into the store and say, what can I do for you? You might say, well, I'm here I just need to get a pair of pants. I got a nice work function and I don't have any dress pants. He'd go, really, where you work? And he'd talk to you, learn about you on the way into the men's department. By the time he got to the men's department, he had suggestions for you. Well, I have a special, buy one pair of pants, get the second 50% off. A lot of times when you buy a pair of pants, it's nice to have a new shirt to go with it. We have a sale on shirts. He would listen to them and let their input be his guide. Time after time after time, I saw James walking to the register with an armful of clothes for somebody who'd just come in to buy a pair of pants while they, get this, while they are thanking him profusely for helping them. Now this is important, we were commissioned salespeople. We made money from selling clothes. But James, not only was he able to sell a lot of clothes, but he had a very low return rate. It's one thing to be able to talk somebody into something, but it's another thing to find out their needs and be able to get them something they want at a good price. James was something of a magician. He had great relationships with other people in other parts of the store. So if you came in the store and you happened to mention that it's your wife, it's your anniversary coming up, he'd call the jewelry department and have somebody bring something over and show you something. He'd have to call the shoe department. If you needed some shoes, he would make that happen for you. If you were an odd size, or if you had an alteration that you needed to get done quickly, he had great relationships with the alteration ladies in the back. Whatever you needed, he would make happen. And he would, and the thing was amazing that people would come in. Watch this. Ask yourself if this happens to you. People would come in Saturday and Sunday, mostly on the weekends, weekend after weekend, and ask for James by name. People who had never been into Waldorf's before will come in and say, hey, my friend told me that I need to come talk to James, that he was going to take care of me. He had his own following. This was before Facebook. This is 30 years ago. This was before social media. People would talk because people love to tell a good story. Are people telling your good story? Are people saying, oh man, if you want to be taken care of, you need to go talk to Sam Henderson right here. He will treat you right. I went in there and I had a problem. I didn't think it could be solved. If you really want if you want to be taken care of, go talk to Steve. He'll treat you right. Are people doing that? People want to tell a good story. Well, I worked with James about 3 months. And it's important at this point that I tell you that James and I were not friends per se. Number one, we were competitors. Number two, we were in completely different parts of our lives. I was young, he was older. I was like 21, he was like way older. He was like 27 or 28. I mean, that's how you feel when you're that age, don't you? He was married, he had a son. But let me tell you, James took me under his wing. Now watch this. James took me under his wing. Even though we had all those differences, we never hung out with one another outside of work. But he took me under his wing and he taught me what he knew. See, he believed that a rising tide floats all boats. So even though we were in competition, he would help me out too. Well, after 3 months of working there, James and I were tied for the best salesman in the department for that 3-month period. And I got my first bonus check. I'd never gotten a bonus check before. That was my first professional job. And I decided that I needed to reinvest some of that money into clothes. I was just a college kid. The job I had before that was just working in a snack shop out at the hospital. I wore cut-off t-shirts and blue jeans and tennis shoes to work. So when I got this professional job, I had to borrow my sport coats from my roommates. I had to borrow ties. So I decided to reinvest some of that money into my wardrobe. So who do you think I went to when I needed help? I went to James because even as his competition, I realized that James was the best, and I believed in James' product. I believed in his customer service ethic. And do you know that James took me around and showed me the best deals, even though I worked there full time, just like him. He showed me deals I didn't know about, showed me how to put fabrics together and what went with what, because I didn't know. Really, I was working there, but I was learning. And at the end of all that, we had the clothes laid out, and he said, Charles, is there anything else that I can help you with, buddy? Is there anything else you want? I said, well, James, I like that pocket square that you have. He wore this one pocket square about 2 or 3 times a week. It was a rich fabric. It was a wonderful, nice color, and I admired it. I said, do we have any more like that? He said, I don't know, but I'll find out. Would you just say that phrase with me? I don't know, but I'll find out. One more time with conviction. I don't know, but I'll find out. One of the strongest, most powerful customer service phrases. Teach your people this. There is no shame in not knowing the answer. But make sure you don't have people on your team that go, oh, I don't know, that's above my job description. That's above my pay grade. It's not funny to the customer. That's a worn out joke. But teach them that if they don't know, ask somebody. Somebody will help you. James said, I don't know, but I'll find out. And he looked around and went back to the pocket squares. It turned out that we didn't have any there, so he called the buyer of the store to find out if we still were going to carry it. It turned out we weren't, so he did something I'll never forget. He came over to me and said, Charles, we don't carry that distributor anymore. I said, oh man, do you know any place else in town that carries those things? Because that's pretty sharp. He goes, no, I sure don't. And again, you got to understand, we weren't buddies. We were just work acquaintances. I was nothing to James. I was just one more little college kid that came in to compete with him, taking food off his kid's table. He did something I'll never forget. He goes, tell you what. He took out his pocket square. He reached over. He tucked it in my pocket just like this. I said, what, James, what are you doing? He said, you take it. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, man. That's your favorite pocket square. He goes, it doesn't matter. You go ahead and take it. Doesn't matter. You'll enjoy it. And would you believe, how many of y'all would believe me if I told you that this very pocket square that I'm wearing tonight is the exact same pocket square that James gave me almost 30 years ago? It's not, but that would have been a cool way to end the story. That would have been awesome, and you would have been going, wow! But you know what? I have it at home, and I keep it because it reminds me of something. It reminds me of an ethic. It reminds me of the guy I want to be. You say, well, Charles, are you that guy yet? No. But I'm infatuated with the idea of people saying, oh, you know what? Jason, you got to get to know Jason. He's a problem solver. He'll take care of it for you. Because there are the people like that in this room. It could be that the reason that a person like you takes time out and invest in some education and invest in this kind of thing is you're the kind of person that is a cut above. It could be. So we could have a high percentage of the James O'Neills in here. But we were nothing like. We weren't even the same race. But he took me under his wing and invested in me. Are you investing in the people around you? And here's the point about that whole story. James was mentoring me, yes, but his customer service ethic didn't have an on and off switch. It was who he chose to be all the time. He was a step-up guy. You knew that when you talked to James, you were talking to somebody who's going to get it handled. Do you know, anybody in here, would anybody be surprised to find out that James became the manager of the entire store? Nobody in here would be surprised because you've already got that picture of him in your mind. James taught me a lot of things, but chief among those things, he taught me how to serve my customers. Serve is an acrostic. It's real easy to remember. If you can't remember it, take this business card right here, email me. It's my desire to be a team player and help you. Email me and we'll send it to you, and we'll make sure that you can communicate this. And you can sign up on my website for a monthly customer service newsletter that you can forward to all your employees. Make sure that they're on the same page with you. Serve is an acrostic. It spells something. S stands for surprise your customer with excellence. You remember the last time you had the wow factor? That's what I'm talking about, where you went, wow. You know when it was? Can I help you? It was when you called up somebody significant to you and go, guess what just happened? Guess what just happened? I was in Denny's and there was a hair in my salad and they gave me the whole thing free. How many of y'all get the idea? I go to Denny's a lot. Anybody get that idea? Surprise your customer with excellence. You do that by E, evaluating their needs. You listen to them. You hear them like James O'Neill. Listen to his customer. You R, respond to those needs. You V, validate your customer's experience. Let me tell you something. Was anybody in business through the recession of 2009, 2010, 2011? Raise your hand if you were in business during that. If we didn't learn anything else, I tell you this, we should have learned the value of having a job. It is a privilege to be here. Do y'all get that? I hope you get that. Do you see what's behind me? The same thing behind me is behind each one of you. It is an invisible 100-person line. There are 100 people that would have wanted to be here talking to you tonight. There are 100 people who would love to have your job, love to have your money, love to have your business. They think that it happened by magic somehow. There's a growing belief, fairy tale thinking in our society today. They think it just happened, but they would love to have what you have and be who you are. It's a privilege to be where you are, and it's up to every one of us. It's incumbent upon all of us to validate every customer that decides to do business with us. Do you spend time validating their experience? And last but certainly not least is the last E. Do you exceed expectations? Do you go above and beyond, or are you just getting by? Again, I believe that if you're in this room, it's because you're an exceeding expectation kind of person. Let me unpack a couple of those real quick. Has anybody in here ever been surprised with excellent customer service? Let me see your hand. Anybody in here been surprised by customer service? Sir, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you look like a sharp fella. Would you mind? Do you remember a specific time where you had excellent customer service? Not at your business. I know, I'm putting you on the spot. Anybody? Did you raise your hand? All right, stand up real quick. Stand up. Tell me about some time, this is for a book, The Big Prize. Tell me about a time where you experienced great customer service and experienced the wow factor.
Okay, got to change a flight. Of course, there's all these charging fees to change a flight, and can't be done. This is just not looking good. Again, this gal just kept working with it. At the end, it's going to cost you $1 million.
Right.
Anyway, like $300, and I said, that's not going to work. She goes, well, you know what? Hold on. Pulled the trigger and got the flight out early. And again, she just took the time to keep working at it.
Isn't that amazing? What airline was that?
Southwest.
Southwest. What a surprise, right? Because they have rated very high in customer service for years. You don't remember her name, do you? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
no, I'm not.
But you remember the name. Now, at any time during that conversation, did she ask you? Maybe she knew that you were going to be standing up in a customer service presentation, and that's why she was doing all that. Did she ask you that?
No.
No, she did not. Give this man a hand. Thank you for sharing that story. That's awesome. You think of anything yet? Okay. All right. You see, there are times where I've just been surprised by customer service. We have a restaurant, a fast food restaurant out in the South called Chick-fil-A. Has anybody heard of that? Chick-fil-A. If you want to be surprised by customer service,
My pleasure.
my pleasure. That's what they say. They say, my pleasure. It's the most amazing thing. True story. My family went into customer service and into Chick-fil-A. And by the way, I was just kidding about my son being 22. He is actually 12. My daughter is 14. A couple years ago, when he was 10 and she was 12, we went into Chick-fil-A. We ordered the fries, the chicken sandwich, and my kids got the shake. We took it to the table. Within about 45 seconds of us being at the table. My son is any of y'all have sons that are boisterous and wild? Within 45 seconds, boom, shake explosion all over the floor. Out of nowhere, it materializes the mop and bucket brigade. They run out. They start cleaning up the mess like they were expecting it. I don't know if they have a bat signal went off back there or what, but they start cleaning up the mess, and from across the room, the guy who poured the shake poured another one, and put it in front of my son and helped him feel a little bit better. Said, here you go, buddy. That happens all the time to me. That happens about 4 or 5 times a day. Don't worry about it. Well, that would be a pretty good story right there, wouldn't it? But after about 10 minutes, we've eaten our meal now. Now my kids have eaten most of the meal. My son has sucked down about half or 3/4 of that shake when again, boom, shake explosion all over the place. Again, the mop and bucket brigade run out just like they were waiting for us slobs to mess up the restaurant. They start cleaning it up. They're saying, we're saying, thank you so much. And they're saying, my pleasure. They're like, oh, thank you so much for this opportunity. The only way that this could have been any better is maybe if one of your kids had thrown up. Thank you so much for this. Where do they find these people? Again, the guy from across the room has poured another shake. He takes it over and he puts it in front of my son. A full shake. Puts it in front of my son. I'm going, dang. I told my wife, here, scoot your shake over here. I'm like, oh no. But they're just that way. They train their people. I talk to the managers. I told you, I interview people. Number one, I said, how do you do this? They say, we set the standard. It comes from corporate on down. They set the standard for excellence. And you'll find their managers working right in there, right along with them, saying, thank you for your business. And you say, well, thank you, my pleasure. That's how, and I believe that language has been adopted by many other organizations. Now you go around and a lot of other organizations are saying, my pleasure now. Not everybody gets that. When my wife and I drive through a drive-through and we get poor service, we have a saying. We go, well, that person just doesn't know where their money's coming from. Do you ever run into that? That person just doesn't know where their money's coming from. But if I'm telling a bad customer service story like I'm about to do, what I try to do is I disguise the name of the business so you won't think I'm the kind of petty person that uses my position as a public speaker to get even with the companies that didn't treat me right. So I needed to rent a car not too long ago, so I was at Smudget Rental Car. I don't know if y'all have heard of that. It's a Smudget Rental Car at 120 West Pike Street in Lawrenceville, Georgia, 30019. And I went up there and I went and I talked to the guy. His name was Steve at Smudget Rental Car, 120 West Pike Street, Lawrenceville, Georgia, 30019. And I spent the next 2 hours of my life talking to Steve, trying to get the kind of car that I had reserved. Turned out that there was a big difference between the cars that they had on their website and the cars that he had in his system. And his whole thing was, no, it just can't be done. No, sir. Has anybody ever talked to that customer non-service representative? No, it just can't be done. I'm sorry, sir, it just can't be done. And after I talked to him for a while, after about an hour and a half, I've quit trying to focus on the car, and I'm just trying to make a customer service convert. Have y'all ever focused on just trying to help the person? I'm going, listen, dude, you got to understand, this is about your money, man. This is about your career. How you focus on the customer is how well you're going to do. And he said, and I quote, he said, the customer doesn't pay my paycheck. I took out my phone. I said, do you mind if I get a picture? I collect pictures of stupid. Do you mind just smiling? We'll take your picture. Not everybody gets it. Do you surprise your customer with excellence? The second thing is, do you evaluate their needs? Do you listen to them? Are you listening? I mentioned marriage as an example. I don't mean this just to be about married folks. Do we have any single people in here? Any single people at all? Anybody wish they were single? Let's try that. Anybody? I think that's a good metaphor for customer service, though. My wife and I, our thing is we like to take walks together. We walk our dog. We have a Chihuahua. Does anybody own a Chihuahua in here? Anybody? They're nasty little mutant rat dogs, aren't they? They're horrible. They would. He's shaking his head. Mine would kill me in my sleep if he could reach the bed. He's like, argh. But they're always named cute little things. What's y'all's name?
Missy.
What?
Missy.
Missy. See, mine would kill me in my sleep, rip out my jugular. His name's Precious, all right? So we're out walking Precious, the mutant rat dog, the other night, the demonic mutant rat dog. We go out. We've been walking for about half an hour, and we go by a local deli, and my wife says, "Hey, let's go in there and let's get a sandwich and bring it home." I said, "All right, baby, you're my customer. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to treat you right." I said, "Let's go get it right now." She goes, wait, customer problem right here. She goes, "We can't do that. We can't take the dog into the restaurant. That's a health code violation that you'll get in trouble." I said, "Well, let's just go home, put the dog up, and then come back." She goes, No, because then it'll be a half an hour back. I'll want to take a shower. That's another half hour, and then we'll have to drive up here, and we'll have to wait for them. That's an hour and a half. I don't want to do that. I'm your customer. You need to come up with a customer solution for me right now." I said, "One occurs right away. Why don't we just leave the dog in the parking lot, come back later and see how that works? How about that?" She said, "No, you need to come up with a real solution." Excuse me. Will y'all just take a moment and give our videographer a hand while I reattach his microphone that I just slapped off? That's Eric back there. Give him a hand. He's doing a great job. While I'm tearing up his equipment. I took out my sunglasses and I put them on. I said, "Baby, I got another solution. Hand me the dog's leash real quick." She handed me the dog's leash. And we started walking into the deli, just as bold as you please. The manager walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir, you can't bring your dog in here." I said, "You don't understand. This is my CNI dog." He said, "Sir, they don't train Chihuahuas as CNI dogs." I said, "They gave me a Chihuahua?" It really happened. My point is, you got to listen. You got to listen to your customer. I wish I had time to cover this. How do people know that you're listening? By the way you respond. Are you responding? And when I say listening, I'm talking about active listening like James O'Neill did. When you have a customer come in, talk to them, engage them. Yes, the back, where the cars are being washed, that's crucial, that's important. Get that process set in place. Get those systems going. But I like to see the owner, the manager out there when you do see a new customer saying, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself to you," and finding out who they are. Talk to them. It's a big deal when the manager or the owner comes up and introduces himself. The operator of the place comes up and introduces himself or herself. People care about that. If you can find a way to honor first-time guests. You know what the Chick-fil-A, I've already mentioned them once, but the Chick-fil-A in the Atlanta airport does, if you're a first-time customer, you know what they do? All of them burst into song. It's like, "Welcome to Chick-fil-A." I don't know what they do, but I asked somebody in an adjacent store, I said, "What is that?" They said they do that about 4 or 5 times a day. If they find out you're a first-time Chick-fil-A customer, they burst, all of them sing to you. Do you make people feel special? With the listening aspect, are you talking to your people and saying, "Hey, where you live? Where do you live? What do you like? What are the services you like? How can I be of service to you? Here's a coupon off for your next visit." People know you are listening to them by the way you respond. R. So S, surprising your customer with excellent. E, evaluating their needs. R, responding to those needs. How do you listen? Not responding to your customer, not showing up is the worst thing you can do. Again, since we're using marriage as a metaphor, I did this when I first got married. Before we had Precious, the demonic mutant rat dog, we had a cat. Anyway, do we have any cat lovers in here? Anybody really love cats? Anybody? Yes, sir. How many cats do you have, sir? Do you have any cats yourself, or just like cats?
They got eaten.
They got eaten by a Chihuahua? Was that what did it? They'll do it. Do you live? Where do you live? That they would just get out in the.
Washington, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a rural area.
Yeah. Do you have any small children? Want to kind of keep them in? Want to keep it high on that? Well, my wife had a cat. She had a cat named Fluffy, and she loved this cat with everything she was. She had this cat for 12 years before we got married. She would call home when she was at business meetings like this and ask, not Charles, how are you doing? She would ask, honey, how's Fluffy doing? And I had to come up with an answer. I'd be all like, oh, he's doing good. Oh, really? What's he doing? Oh, I don't. He's watching Wheel of Fortune. He's might be doing some online gambling. I don't know. You'll have to check the history. So one time she called up. She said, honey, how's he doing? Again, people know whether you're listening and how they're treated by the way you respond. She goes, how's Fluffy doing? I said, Fluffy died. I know, bad mood, right? She goes, he died? You're just going to tell me like that? I said, well, how am I supposed to tell you? She goes, well, you could have softened it a little bit. I go, how could I have softened it? She said, the first time I called, you could have said, the cat is up on the roof and we cannot get him down. I go, all right. I could have done that. She said, the second time I called, you could have said, we called the fire department to rescue him, but he got spooked and he plummeted to the ground. I go, all right, I could have done that. She goes, the third time I called, you could have said we rushed him to the emergency vet center and they operated him on him for 3 hours and finally he passed on. I go, wow, because she's trying to tell me something, right? It's up to me to respond to that. I said, when you mess up, and here's my point here, when you mess up, you got to own up. I said, honey, I messed up and I'm so sorry. I was insensitive. I can see how I blew it. She goes, oh, I forgive you. I said, no, it's never going to happen again. She goes, that's just how guys are sometimes. I go, well, not this one. I'm never going to do that to you again. She goes, well, forget about it. How's my mother taking the news? I said, your mother is up on the roof and we cannot get her down. It's a mother-in-law joke, gentlemen. Come on in. There we go. Are you listening? Are you responding? And are you validating your customer's experience? What do you do when there is a problem? What do you do? What do you train your people to do? Do you go, well, now I just want to, you have to understand that when do you explain, do you blame, or do you take care of the problem? You say, all right, I'm sorry about that. What can I do? What can I do about that situation? Tell me what we need to do. Because that kind of thing gets out to people. The last thing, one of the quickest ways to poverty I know is arguing with your customer. A lot of nodding heads right now. Arguing, listen, can you reason? Absolutely. You can get on this side of the table with them and say, hey, now what would happen if we did this? Do you think that might be a good solution for this? Or you can reason with them, but using push words like no. You know people like that? No, we can't do that. No. And it feels like this, doesn't it? It feels like you're being pushed, and it's annoying. You know what push stands for? Provoking unnecessary, senseless hostility. Don't use push words. Instead, try to never say just no. Say no, or try to get that out of your vocabulary altogether. Say, I tell you what, have you thought about doing this? This is what we're thinking about doing. Would you be interested in that? Okay, I have another solution. Because, listen, if your customer is working on the solution harder than you are, you need to re-examine your customer service ethic. I had the publisher of one of my books coming into town on a Monday. I found out late Friday afternoon that they were coming into town. So when they showed up, I wanted to treat them right. This was the owner of my publishing company and his chief editor. They were coming into town and they wanted to meet with me. They're the ones that decide whether or not they want to publish my books. And they write me a check for writing those books. So I decided to go down to the mall and get them a little gift basket welcoming them to town. Good idea, right? So I walk in to the place on a Saturday, and I walk up to this guy. I don't know his name. I'm just going to call him Beavis. Does that work for y'all? He had that I'm just working here until my band gets discovered look, you know what I'm talking about? And he talked like Tommy Chong. Is that a dated reference? Anybody? He's like, I said, do you remember Cheech and Chong? Anybody? Is it just me? And He goes, I said, do you have any gift baskets? He goes, well, no, our basket guy doesn't come in on the weekends. I swear, basket guy. I said, well, what does it take to make a basket? Well, you got it, it takes shrink wrap and stuff. I said, do you need a degree or anything? Or what do you need to do it? He goes, well, it's just really complicated. And I just kept on trying to find out ways that I can do it. And I couldn't get through to him. So finally, I'm getting up in his face, and it was kind of like the Steve at the Smudge car rental. I said, listen, you got to talk to people how they understand, right? You got to talk to them in their language. I said, listen, Beavis, I am trying to give you money. Get money. I'm trying to give you money so you can go buy your drugs, so you can go do your thing. I don't know what you do with it, not judging. I'm just saying you're going to go do what you do with it. And so I want candy. Do you have any option, any way I can do that? He said, well, I guess I could put some candy in a gift bag for you. Do you train your people to be problem solvers? Do you reward your people for being problem solvers? Last but certainly not least, after you've surprised your customers with excellence, after you've evaluated their needs, after you've responded to their needs and validated who they are, and they're doing business with you, do you seek to exceed the expectations? Can I tell you something? Listen very carefully. Listen, this is one of the most important things. Customer satisfaction is not your goal. Customer satisfaction is not your goal. Let's make it personal, and once you say it we'll say it's not my goal. Customer satisfaction is not my goal. Say it. I know, take a leap of faith. You're going, wait a minute, Charles. Take a leap of faith with me, and I'll explain it. Say it with me again. Customer satisfaction is not my goal. Repeat this. Customer excitement is my goal. Customer excitement is my goal. You want to turn them in to your personal marketing machine where they're getting up, they go, have you heard about Steve? Is it Homan? Is that right? Have you heard about Steve Homan? I went over to his place, and man, good night. Because he went over and above. He walked out behind the counter. He shook their hand. He said, hey, how are you doing? Good to meet you, Daniel. Where do you live? Is this your family? And you talk to them for a minute. You remember their name coming back in. Because let me tell you, and this is one of the most encouraging things I have to tell you tonight. The good news is, if you do that, you set yourself apart. Your competition, quite frankly, most likely is not doing that. Because customer service is becoming more and more of a rarity in today's society. The people who are willing to step up and be the James O'Neills, they stand out, and they become the news story that somebody wants to go back and talk about. They're the ones that influence people. See, because leadership, we have leaders in here. Leadership is not about the number of people in your employ. It's not about the number of people you manage. It is about the influence you exert. What kind of influence are you exerting? Are people going, you know what, I want to be like him? I mean, see, James didn't realize I was going to be talking about him 30 years from then. He was just being James. Somebody's going to be talking about you one day. Somebody's going to be telling your story. Your influence, this is my final story, and we'll call it a night. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate it. And I'm serious about that. If you want to know more about the Serve method or sign up on my newsletter, visit my website, and I'll do whatever I can to help you be more successful. Your influence, your input is all that stands between the people on your team, the people in your family, the people in this room becoming governors or gas station attendants. Story goes like this. There was a governor traveling around campaigning for re-election with his wife in the back of a limo. And they're going from stop to stop to stop on a Saturday, getting out doing little 5-10 minute speeches. After they've been doing this all day, in the early afternoon, the chauffeur rolls down the window and says, "Excuse me, Governor, we need to stop someplace and get some gas." The governor said, "Pull into the first place you find." So the driver pulled into this old country town. the first country town that he found, and he pulled into this old country gas station, and then an old country gas station attendant ambled out and started pumping their gas. Something caught the governor's attention. He looked out. He said, "Now, honey, look at this." He nudged his wife. "We have wound up back in our hometown where we first met and started going out, where we grew up together. Isn't that amazing?" She goes, "Well, I'll be. I didn't even know we were back in that part of the state." And then he looked over at the guy pumping the gas. He goes, "Now, wait a minute, honey, look at that guy." He goes, "Isn't that the guy that you used to date before we started going out?" She looked over there. She goes, "I'll be. That sure is. That's the guy that I was dating right before I met you." Then the governor kind of got this smug look on his face, maybe thought he'd remind his wife of how good she has it. He goes, "Honey, did you ever think about this, that if you hadn't ever met me, if you'd married him, today you would be a wife of a gas station attendant?" Without even pausing, she looked back at him. She said, "Honey, did you ever think that if I'd married him instead of marrying you, today he would be governor and you would be pumping gas?" You ever think about that? You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.